So let's find a good, nice seat. You can use a pillow, you can use a yoga block, or whatever you need to really feel those sitting bones down, rooted down, and then being able to elongate the spine all the way up and the top of the head toward the ceiling. So we'll continue with some gentle movements, and then we'll come into more challenging movements for the rotation in the spine if you are up for it. There's always space and place for modification. So if I say something, you don't have to do it, okay? Like I'm guiding you, and there's always like the first step where you can stay and not advance from there. Okay, so let's connect with the breath here, elongating the spine, having this nice alignment. You can think hypopressive alignment. And then from here, we're coming with the arms out toward the sides, inhaling, coming all the way up, and then exhaling, rotating the spine toward one direction and placing the opposite hand on the opposite knee. The other hand is in the floor behind your pelvis. And then you can add in gazing over the back shoulder if you want to have that elongation in the neck. Inhaling, coming all the way up, reaching, stretching, and exhaling, coming down. Good. Let's do a few more rounds here. Flowing with your own breath. Just nice and slow, tuning in to the spine, creating fluidity here. Good. 2 more on each side. And you can do it really slow. No need to rush anything. Good. So when you've done 2 on each side, we're going to take a more static stretch. So you can either do a figure 4, kind of, where you put your legs like this. And then with the leg that you have crossed the other one, you take the opposite arm, and we're going to rotate from here. So if you feel this is fine, you can also bend this leg on the ground and keep it in this kind of rotation. So then one leg is bent and on the ground, and one is bent and pointing up toward the ceiling. And then there are different variations here. So before we go into the rotation, we always want to elongate the spine. Otherwise, the rotation is of no use. If we're here and rotating, nothing's going to happen. Probably cause some like sprain or something. So we really want to root down through the sitting bones, elongating the spine, and then kind of climbing and listening to the body. Like you can say here, or maybe you can hug this upper leg a little tighter and rotate a little bit more. And maybe you want to gaze over the back shoulder. And there's even this variation where you can take the upper arm and place it on the thigh so that you can use the leg and the arm to rotate even more. Breathing here. Relax your jaw, your face, and take 3 more deep breaths. And we're working here. The whole body is working, so it's almost like hypopressives. You're really like the arm and the leg, The spine is working. It's not like, oh, this is so relaxing and I'm just kind of melting down toward the ground. That's not the case. Good. And then slowly, gently coming out. Let's do the same thing on the other side. And maybe you want to start and just check if you need to have this straight leg. That's fine. And then lifting, elongating, without, lifting everything forward so much so that you collapse in the lower back. We want the, again, hypopressives alignment, hypopressives breathing, lateral breathing. And then slowly hugging. Maybe start to use the leg to be able to rotate. Maybe you want to place the hand down and back to support the elongation of the spine a little more before you maybe move on. And you can use the arm and the leg to support you here, to be able to go deeper into the twist. Gazing over the back shoulder. So we are not only creating fluidity and circulation in the spine here, but also in the pelvis, because they are connected, as you probably know. So doing this work will really start to increase circulation in the spine, the pelvis, and also activation of nerves, because the nervous system it travels inside of the spine, all the way down to the pelvis and out in the legs. Good. So 2 more breaths, deep breaths, elongating the spine, really working. Each body part is there to facilitate first the elongation and secondly the rotation of the spine. And then slowly coming out when you're ready. So now we're going to do a breathing exercise, and if you can sit cross-legged, I recommend you to take the leg you're not used to have in front. So you sit cross-legged, and again finding these sitting bones. And now we're going to do more of like a fast rotation of the spine in sync with our breath. So it does not necessarily have to be fast. So we're going to hold the hands on the shoulders, and then we are going to inhale to the left and exhale to the right. So the mildest version of this is to continue to breathe long and like slow movements. So focusing on breathing laterally. And then we can, from there, explore if the body can do it slightly faster so that we can almost come into momentum with this rotation. So again, elongating, aligning the body, the rib cage with the pelvis, just like in hypopressive, so we have this support. And if you want to try, and if this creates any pain or pressure, or if you're feeling uncomfortable, then you do the slow version. Otherwise, you can try to do it a little faster, like this. And it does not have to be a forceful breath at all, but it's just a little faster. So you go ahead and try, and maybe you can find something in between these 2 versions. Or you want to do it even faster and maybe even forceful. So the breath of fire can really create a lot of pressure in the belly when you're working with that. And this is kind of a milder version of that. So we don't need to create a lot of pressure in the core to get the benefits from this breathing. Also, when we create pressure in the core, it all automatically goes into the pelvic floor. So be careful. And if you are in this kind of momentum, after some time, you will be able to do it in a bigger motion, and maybe even a bit with the neck. But when we are doing fast movements, we always want to be very cautious. We don't want to cause strain or anything that may give us pain later also. So just do a few more rounds here. Good. And then slowly, we're just gonna decrease the movement, not stopping straight away. And when you're ready, you come all the way into stillness. You can let your hands and arms down, just elongating the spine again. Maybe you want to close your eyes and notice now the sensation that you have from the neck all the way down to your pelvis. What kind of sensations can you track here? The body loves when we put words on sensations that the body is experiencing in this moment. So if you can put words on these sensations, for example, blood's like circulation, I can feel warmth, I can feel flow, or, you know, I'm dizzy, I'm out of breath, anything that you are experiencing now that you can confirm for the body. Like, this is happening now. You're creating a space for that sensation to move through your system, because that is what is present in your body right now. Good. Okay, so we are going to do the same exercise again. If you feel that is too much for you or you're not up for that one, you can do the first one that we did. Breathing in and then coming with the arm and the hand down and working with your breath here. If you are up for one more round, we're going to do about a minute. You put your hands on your shoulders, and again, you can do it really slowly or with the momentum. So build it up. Make sure you're not just rushing into it. So go ahead, choose your version and breathe with presence. Trying to breathe into the rib cage, whichever version you choose. And if you do the one where you lift your arms, maybe you find a place you want to stay for some time and explore. If you feel a good stretch somewhere, you can do that. So slowly, if you did the version with your hands on your shoulders, you can slow it down bit by bit. And we're all again gonna come to stillness, just letting our arms rest. Taking a couple of breaths. And we're gonna finish off with some rotations for the spine on all fours. So let's come to an all fours position. If you can be on your hands, that's great. There's always the option to come down to the elbows as well, if hands is not working for you. So we're gonna do a version of threading the needle. When you're ready, you can lift one arm up toward the ceiling, gazing up slowly, and then slowly on the exhale, fill out the movement through the exhale. And when you empty completely, you come all the way down with your arm and even with your head, if that is possible. Again, inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, coming all the way down, resting just for a short second. And then again, breathing in. So let's do 3 more like this. And then we're going to stay in threading the needle. Good. So slow breaths, moving with awareness. And then staying in threading the needle. If you want to explore here, you can, let's see, you can take the hand that you have in the floor, not the arm, the hand and the arm, and take to the opposite hip. So behind the back and toward the opposite hip. Maybe you can't reach, that's fine, but this is going to help you open that shoulder even more toward the ceiling. And you can even press the arm that you have on the floor a little more toward the floor and maybe even gaze up. Good. So just rest here. 3 more deep breaths. Again, using the floor and the arms to really facilitate for the rotation to happen. Good. And then slowly after your last breath, you can come up gently, placing the hands back down. And let's just do a few rounds of cat and cow before we take the other side. So you inhale, you expand your heart, you lift your chin, shoulder blades come together, and exhaling, looking toward your belly button and stretching out the shoulder blades or the space in between the shoulder blades. Good. One last round. And then we're ready for the second side of threading the needle. So when you're ready, you inhale, you lift, and then exhale. Just make sure you do the other side this time. And you work with your breath. Inhale slowly. It's like you're dancing with your breath. So don't leave the breath hanging. You need to move with your breath, alongside the breath. Even if it's inhale or exhale, you want the movement to be there throughout the breath. Good. One last inhale. And then exhaling, coming all the way down, making sure that you feel comfortable before you do anything else. And then if you want to, you can take that shoulder that is toward the ceiling, that arm and hand can start to come across your back, and you can search for that other hip. And you can really use the floor to kind of push away your body, lifting your shoulder up all the way toward the ceiling, elongating the spine. Again, the top of the head is moving away from your pelvis. Taking a few last breaths here, expanding the rib cage, moving deeper into the rotation. Good. Slowly, when you're ready, you can move out from this position. And we're going to come to a resting position. I always encourage you to have a pillow underneath your hips so that your pelvic floor can really rest. If you have a chair or a wall, you can put your legs up the wall or the chair. That usually, if you have that heavy sensation, especially like toward the end of the day, you can do this before you get that heavy sensation because the blood will come back easier. Like you will lift everything back with the help of gravity in an effortless way. So keep a pillow under your hips, your legs high if you can. If you want to wear a blanket, if you want to cover your eyes, please go ahead. It's also nice to keep something heavy on the body. And if you don't have a heavy thing like a weighted blanket, you can use pillows or anything else. Maybe an animal, if you have one, like a dog or a cat. So make sure you're comfortable. This type of rest, it can, it does not have to be a long rest, but it can be so effective if we prop ourselves up in a way so that the body feel it's held. It's like for a baby. A baby wants to be held. It wants to have this soothing feeling, just being in someone's arms, close to their heart. The same way we want to be held. And we can use gravity and the earth to create that kind of sensations for ourselves. So when you're ready to let go of your active breath, please do. Just breathing in a relaxed way in and out through the nose. Not thinking about the breath any longer. Relaxing the jaw. The face. Your neck. Your back. Arms. Pelvis. Legs. And feet. Letting everything come just 0.5 millimeter closer to the earth. So now we want to let go of our thoughts and of our body. Just being, floating, melting. And you are, of course, welcome to stay here for as long as you wish. Whenever you decide to get up, move slowly, drink some water. And I thank you so much for joining today's class.